Good morning and welcome to the daily chapter reading of It's Your Loss. Emma on Treating Yourself. Notes on self-care from the one who thought she didn't deserve it. If you're an introvert like me, your instinct through loss will probably be to hibernate away from people and recharge. And if the thought of asking a friend to organize a day of fun for you makes you want to set fire to everything, I'm here to give you some alternatives that you can do all by yourself. The sweetest 3 words that ever there were. How well equipped you are to look after yourself will have a lot to do with your state of mind. When my mom died, self-care wasn't at the top of my CV. I was 26 and didn't like myself very much. At the beginning of a career I never thought I'd get to have, I was fake it till you make it aimed, dealing with imposter syndrome, trying to adult correctly and surviving largely on apples and a strong black coffee. In those times when you're forging ahead into territories unknown, having anchor points you can refer back to and remember who you are can feel like a little life raft. So before she popped off, I would call my mom on my lunch breaks and we would laugh and joke and connect in a way I didn't feel I could with other people. That was always the way for best. We were peas in a strangely shaped pod full of warmth and laughter and ease. So losing her meant I also lost those little moments of grounding and reconnection. And if you're going through the loss of a relationship, an estrangement, or saying goodbye to a much-loved career, you might feel that too. Sometimes the very thing you've lost is the thing that used to nourish you. So you're having to not only navigate it no longer being there, but also work out how to fill in the gaps it used to fill as well. It's the old adage about breakups, that the one person you'd usually turn to for support isn't there anymore, and it is absolute balls. My lasting wish for you as you're reading this is that you find ways to navigate your own loss that don't leave you a shell of a person. Post-loss was not a good time in Emma land, and I'm still undoing the knots I got myself into many, many years later. So grab your shopping trolley and let's browse the aisles of the self-care supermarket to find ways to avoid being a sad jelly with a hard outer shell and do some good stuff for yourself. Some of the good stuff here might feel the same as what you saw in Robin's bit. Find time for yourself, go outside, but the purpose and reason behind them, how you feel while you're doing them, and how they help you to process will be something quite different. This is the Introvert Self-Care City Mapper. It should get you to the same places but using a slightly different route, a route with fewer people on it. Be your own safe space. First things first, please know that you don't need to be okay. If the swinging log of loss has knocked you off your perch, let yourself sit on the floor for a bit while the little cartoon birds fly around your head. Healing takes time and you can't fast forward time. So take days off work, turn off notifications on your phone, let friends know you're out of action for a while. You don't even have to tell them why if you don't want to. But the first part of the people-pleasing introvert's complete guide to self-care through loss, niche, is to make time for yourself. Yes, life is busy. Yes, there are things you feel you should be doing, but taking a little time to focus on you is going to make getting back to that life a whole lot easier. And cry. If you feel the tears coming, cry, wherever you are. Nobody will think badly of you for it. When was the last time you saw somebody crying and thought, what an idiot? I spent so long burying my emotions that sometimes, even to this day, I struggle to get to them and let them out. But I now know that if I don't, I'm right back into anxiety town, where the cocktails are adrenaline and the only music is sudden loud noises and bagpipes. You might be one step ahead of where I was through big loss and have an actual self-care routine you relied on, and if you do, that's great. Sticking to familiar things can be a really good way to ground yourself. If you're finding it difficult to do the things you usually do to make yourself feel better, though it can make you feel even more out of sorts. If that happens, it's totally fine. Notice it, maybe grab a pencil and write it down. In fact, writing stuff down is one of my all-favorite ways to practice self-care. Introverts tend to live a rich internal life, which makes us wonderfully insightful in good times, but in tough times can leave us with a swirling mess of emotions in our heads that are difficult to pin down. And our brains sometimes throw up little nuggets at the weirdest moments. I can't tell you how many times I found myself on a busy street when something pops into my head I don't quite have the brain power to deal with. An extrovert might simply mention it to the person they are with, but an introvert will likely want to mull it over for a bit before they get it out for public consumption. So, if getting your emotional crown jewels out in public make you want to hide in a cupboard, try writing. Or something next to writing, like drawing or music or sticking beads on the card. It might seem strange to an introvert at first, but it can help to get everything out of your head onto semi-cohesive thoughts. It means you have to sift through them properly to find the right words, brush stroke, chord speed, adhesive. It can help to bring focus to yourself and your state of mind and feel completely cathartic. But if you hate writing and crafts, try another thing. Whatever helps you work through the feelings to stop them swirling around your head, do that. You could write about a moment you feel something and what you were doing in it. You could write 3 words about how you're feeling today, or you could even try a little journaling. Taking a moment each day to jot down thoughts, check in with yourself, and to see how you're doing can be just the thing you need to help make sense of the world. How and when you do your journaling will be unique to you. I favor first thing in the morning, from bed, before my brain is working properly, and usually before I've spoken to anybody else. I find that if I wait too long, I'm distracted by other things and struggle to focus. Try writing down how you're feeling, or if you're not sure how you're feeling, write whatever comes into your head, following that along until you finally get somewhere. It could be, I really don't want to do this today, or all I can think about is waffles. But if it's honest and true, it's usually lead to the things your brain's stuck on. You can buy whizzy journals with different sections and moods to fill out, and productivity tips and color coding. If that's your bag, great. Find the thing that works for you. Another mega helpful way of writing is letters. Not like pen pals, though do that if you like, but more like writing to the person or thing you lost. Sometimes my therapist will try to get me to role play talking to someone who isn't in the room. What would you like to say to them? She'll ask, and I'll sit there mute and embarrassed because it's just not my bag. But give me a piece of paper and I'm away. They're not letters you ever send. They're one-side conversations that help to get you thinking about how you really feel. It could be an apologize for stealing your ex-friend's shoes. It could be a love letter to a lost partner, or an angry tirade to the parent who walked out on you. But there's something about that feeling of indirect contact that really frees up the mind and helps you access your honest thoughts and feelings about a thing. So don't hold back. Get it all out. Then you can choose whether to keep it or burn it. Or do what I did and drunkenly hand it to a friend on a night out after your therapy session. Like we keep saying, loss is complicated. The quiet life. If you're already feeling overwhelmed by the world, self-care can just feel like another thing on the to-do list and make you want to hire a personal assistant you can outsource it all to. So I'm going to come out in praise of sitting still. In the bath, outside on a bench, sprawled on the local park. Because when you sit still, your mind can catch up with itself. No phone, no TV screen, just you and your brain. Nobody ever had an emotional revelation watching Die Hard, probably. And like Robin, I've discovered the powers of mild distraction to help you do it. It becomes almost a meditation. If you struggle to sit still, try laying down somewhere quiet. Put headphones on, playing music you like, and hold something to fiddle with in your hands. Let your mind wander. Relax your jaw. Take it slow. If you can do a minute of that in the beginning, that's good going. Write down anything that popped into your head afterwards, and then do something lovely for yourself as a reward. Because the truth is, if you're finding self-care difficult, it feels like work. And like most work, you're more likely to do it if there's something nice at the end of it, whether that's a fat paycheck or a giant cookie. One of my therapist's favorite things to do is what would feel like relief. If you're feeling overwhelmed or can't work out how you feel, the chances are you're all knotted up and tense. Take a breath. Take a moment and focus on what relief would feel like. Take a breath. Let your shoulders drop and try to relax your stomach and chest. Then think about what would feel good that day. Maybe a whole day of sitting in front of the telly with your phone off. Maybe a misty walk. Maybe reading, baking, whatever gives you that relaxed feeling in your chest. Carve out some time in your week to do that. Learning what relief feels like can really help you navigate your feelings of bliss. Probably the easiest access thing to do is to go for some outside time by yourself. Where you live will have some bearing on how easy this is, but for my introvert crew, my recommendation is to go to the quietest, most breathing spot you can find and amble around in it.